Welcome, age of vintage society. Her soft curls, bold eyebrows and fluttery lashes perfectly summed up the 1950s beauty, earning her the Life magazine title An Atomic Bomb. Yes, we are talking about the first Bond girl, Linda Christian. Why Linda Christian suffered in her perfect marriage to Tyrone Power. I want you to know, my viewers, how much I appreciate your generous support on Patreon and your activity on the channel. These videos would not have been possible without you. Big thanks to those who watched the video until the end. Mexican-born beautiful actress Linda Christian may have been the inspiration for the expression beauty with brains. Though her best performances were in Tarzan and The Mermaids, Linda Christian was much more than just an ordinary movie star. Her fluency in multiple languages is one of the signs of how intelligent she was. It was her talent and extraordinary beauty that won the hearts of most eligible men of the era. She was even married to one of Hollywood's hottest leading men at the time, Tyrone Power. She married another superstar, Edmund Purdom, and you know what was the most interesting fact? She was alluring enough to attract these handsome men at a time when she was not even successful in her career. This video is to honour our favourite Bond beauty of all time, who defined her era and what it means to be extremely hot. So, this beautiful, elegant but long-forgotten American actress from mid-century Hollywood rose to fame in the 1940s and 50s of the previous century. Some may believe that her personal life and marriage to movie actor Tyrone Power overshadowed her work, but we cannot deny the fact that she managed to prove her talent in Hollywood. Producers and directors were drawn to her attractive appearance and bright red hair, and the path to Hollywood quickly became accessible to her. But it was not just her beauty that caught everyone's attention. In fact, she was the most gifted child in her family. Linda Christian was born in Tampico, Mexico in 1923 and was the eldest daughter of a Dutch executive for Shell Oil and a Mexican mother. She had one sister and two brothers, but what made her unique was her competency in everything she ever did. Even at a young age she was fluent in 6 languages, including French, German, Dutch, Spanish, Italian and English. Probably it was because she travelled a lot, all thanks to her father's job, which moved the family to many different nations, and she was raised in South Africa, the Netherlands, Switzerland, Yugoslavia and Palestine. Early on, Christian wanted to be a doctor. That's exactly what we expect from most competent students, right? She even began her medical training in Palestine, but in 1941, as a result of the global situation, she returned to Mexico, where she charmed numerous government figures. Are you wondering how she then decided to become an actress instead of a doctor? It happened when she won a beauty pageant. Indeed, she deserved to win, but it was her meeting with Errol Flynn that finally convinced her to try her luck in American movies. She was quickly chosen to play a Goldwyn girl in Danny Kaye's debut feature Up in Arms, and a cigarette girl in Edgar G. Ulmer's Club Havana. Flynn invented her theatrical name and gave her the last name Fletcher Christian of Mutiny on the Bounty. In a 1933 Australian movie, Flynn had the role of Fletcher Christian. He claims in his memoirs, My Wicked, Wicked Ways, that right after Linda Christian's screen test, he offered to pay to have a few crooked teeth straightened for her. He learned that she had taken the chance to get major cosmetic dentistry when he received a hefty bill. "Smile, sweetie, I want to see those choppers. They took their first bite out of me," he commented when they later crossed paths. After Flynn, it was Louis B. Mayer's secretary who discovered Linda Christian during a fashion show in Beverly Hills, not long after arriving in Hollywood. As a result of their meeting, she signed a 7-year contract with MGM. Certainly it was a big achievement, but something unexpected was yet to come in her personal life. She agreed to the terms of the contract, which included a modest decorative role in the Hollywood shot musical Holiday in Mexico, and an exotic role as Lana Turner's Maori maid in Green Dolphin Street. During that time, Tyrone Power was filming in Rome, so Christian made the decision to fly there, stay at the same hotel, and arrange a meeting with the handsome actor. Christian insisted that her own subsequent encounter with Power in Rome was purely accidental, but it was widely believed that she overheard Turner discussing Power's upcoming travel plans and purposefully made reservations at his hotel, where she made friends with him by asking for his autograph for her younger sister. Tyrone Power, the most handsome man, however, couldn't avoid this sensational beauty icon. She remembered, it was love at first sight. Almost immediately he asked me to marry him. Christian and Power wed in a Rome church in January 1949, with 8,000 admirers outside the church, and more than 1,000 riot police sent in to control the scene when Christian arrived 22 minutes late, and the barriers broke. After all, it was Tyrone Power who had been 20th Century Fox's top male star for several years. After a brief honeymoon, Tyrone Power started shooting The Black Rose. Linda learned she was expecting while the movie was being made. The couple was overjoyed, but unfortunately months later, following a difficult flight with Power as a pilot through a terrible storm, Linda lost the boy-child in Paris a few hours later. The doctor thought the baby could be rescued when she finally made it to the hospital, but the sad part is, it was just the beginning of Christian's misery. While filming American Gorilla in the Philippines, Linda lost a second son and subsequently a girl. After 3 miscarriages, Romina, a baby girl, was finally born to the couple in 1951, and they were overjoyed. But as time passed, the marriage became more stressful. She was unhappy that Power was never included in any of her films. They argued during the filming of Mississippi Gambler about Linda's understanding that she would have a role in the film. She believed Tyrone should have pushed harder to include her in the film. They were given the chance to collaborate on many occasions, but each offer was rejected or withdrawn for a number of reasons. The most noteworthy chance for them to co-star was when From Here to Eternity offered them leading roles in 1953. Power declined the offer since he didn't want to work on the movie. Then Donna Reed and Montgomery Clift were cast in the roles. Solomon and Sheba were another movie they were promised to make together, but Tyrone Power once again declined. Additionally, there were issues with his preference to work on stages so frequently as opposed to sticking to filmmaking. Problems in their marriage were only increasing, so how can someone expect marital harmony? Tyrone was almost prepared to ask for a divorce, but then a ray of hope emerged. Christian was again expecting, so they tried to stay together. Their second daughter, Tyrone, brought them together again, and everything seemed fine for some time. But not long after the birth of Tyrone, when Christian was at the height of her career in 1954, gossip columns hinted that both the wife and the husband had left each other. Yet the movie fan magazines were full of pictures of Power and Christian as a happily married couple with 2 daughters. In the 1954 MGM musical Athena, Christian portrayed Purdam's snobbish fiancée. The former ballerina Anita Phillips, the wife of Purdam, attended the same school as Christian, and the Powers and the Purdams grew close friends, even travelling on vacation together. The once cosy trio was quickly split apart by hate. While Untamed was being shot, Christian finally filed for divorce from Power in 1956, citing mental mistreatment. Power made every effort to see his kids after their divorce. He was given 2 months of custody under the divorce judgment. If his schedule allowed it, and he and Linda could agree, he would keep them for longer than the allotted 2 months. Despite being the most beautiful, most intelligent, and most successful, she was not lucky enough to have a beautiful family life for a longer period. She endured the pain of multiple miscarriages during her marriage with Tyrone Power, but one thing was positively impacted, and it was her career. Prior to the marriage, MGM only cast Christian in a prominent role in Tarzan and the Mermaids, Johnny Weissmuller's final and 12th appearance as the Ape Man, when she portrayed an island girl saved by Tarzan from the hands of a wicked high priest. Christian is termed a mermaid because she swims a lot and is dressed in a tiny 2-piece outfit. Robert Florey was the director of this adventure movie, which debuted in 1948. The world-famous tale of Lady Jane, who was raised by monkeys, and the Tarzan monkey serves as the foundation for the scenario. Years have passed, the couple is peacefully residing in the pristine Amazonian bush, and their son is studying in London without a problem. Linda Christian performed so well in the role of a charming mermaid who rescues Tarzan in a single day. She describes the horrifying custom of her tribe, which involved offering human sacrifice to the gods. However, before she could explain how she was taken hostage and saved, the owner of the jungle rushed to the scene. After landing the lead part in the movie Tarzan and the Mermaids, Linda Christian did indeed achieve true success. However, she began to obtain a few prominent roles in B-movies after she wed Power, which led to an increase in her fan base. Slaves of Babylon, a 1953 film co-starring Richard Conte, was one of them. Her posing for a portrait by renowned Mexican artist Diego Rivera was more satisfying. She was originally offered $2 million for the artwork, which was pictured on the cover of her autobiography Linda, but it is currently in a private collection. Christian portrayed Valerie Mathis in a 1954 CBS television adaptation of Ian Fleming's Casino Royale, James Bond's former love, who is now employed by the French Secret Service. The actress made history when she played Valerie Mathis and became the first Bond girl to appear on television. Ian Fleming's renowned book was first time adapted for the screen. However, certain characters and the plot have been altered from the original source. For example, the film's depiction of the agent's girl is unique because Linda Christian's book's heroine is absent. Still, she was mesmerizing on the screen with her co-star Barry Nelson. After Linda's divorce, she mainly played modest supporting roles, but she was still beautiful. Millionaires were available for her to deliberately keep Christian in the way she was used to. As a result of her refusal to return jewellery given to her by socialite Robert H. Schlesinger, whose cheque for $100,000 that was intended to serve as partial payment for the jewellery bounced, she was once called to testify in court in Los Angeles. Christian also had a romantic relationship with racing driver Alfonso de Portago, with whom she was photographed just before he passed away in a car accident at the 1957 Mi Maguila event that also took the lives of several spectators. Later that year, Francisco Baby Pignatari, a Brazilian businessman, took Christian on a world tour. Along with enjoying her personal life, she was also quite active professionally. Her occasional films included House of Seven Hawks, which starred Robert Taylor, whom she would later describe as her favourite leading man. She once said he was so natural he never seemed to be acting. Another movie was Thunderstorm, an unusual drama directed by former actress Binnie Barnes. The movie starred Christian, who, after being saved from drowning by a fisherman, Carlos Thompson, proves to be a disruptive influence on the menfolk of the fishing village. In 1962, Linda Christian and her longtime friend Edmund Purdom finally tied the knot. However, she said, "The marriage wasn't all that stable. Edmund was really angry with me for taking so long to propose to him. Thus our real time spent together was less than a day. He later expressed regret for what happened, and I forgave him." After 2 years, Linda Christian again fell in love, this time with the matador Louis Dominguez, a former lover of Ava Gardner, while filming Francesco Rossi's semi-documentary The Moment of Truth about bullfighting. The following year she moved to Spain and intended to stay for a brief visit, but ended up staying for 7 years. In routine movies like The Devil's Hand, Christian reprised her role as a seductive high priestess of voodoo beside her real-life sister Ariadna Huerta. The film was created in 1959, but it wasn't released until 1962. She played Rod Taylor's gold-digging girlfriend in the 1963 omnibus movie The VIPs, though she later claimed that Elizabeth Taylor had her best moments deleted. In and Out for Oscar, a David Goodis-written episode of the television series Alfred Hitchcock Presents, she portrayed a dishonest wife. Before retiring, she worked on a number of films in Europe, including 2 with renowned German actor O.W. Fischer. In 1962, she released her autobiography, Linda, and used a Diego Rivera portrait of her as the book's dust jacket. Christian finally retired to Rome in 1968, but at the age of 64 she made her cinematic comeback in a few dreadful Italian thrillers, almost 20 years after her last appearance. Christian's final film appearances were in 1987 releases Delitti by Giovanni Lenzi and Amore inquieto di Maria by Sergio Pastore. She made her final on-screen appearance in Gian Pietro Calasso's television film Cambiamento d'aria the following year. Her marriage and the subsequent passing of her lover and former husband Tyrone Power had a significant impact on her professional progress. She practically left the cinema to devote herself to the family. First ever Bond girl Linda Christian passed away in Palm Springs on July 22, 2011 at the age of 87 after a long fight with colon cancer. Her daughters Tyrone and Romina Power are the only ones left. Despite having fewer films, she will always be remembered for her glamour, on-screen persona and her talent. In fact, she is almost irreplaceable. Do you think that anyone can ever match the charm of Linda Christian? Share your thoughts in the comments. Linda Christian and Tyrone weren't the perfect match. It's hard to find your other half in Hollywood. Why Franchot Tone's love triangle led to the scandal of the year. Watch this video.